Welcome back to the Airstream design section using SketchUp. We are going to work on creating the front end cap of the trailer in these next couple of videos. The end cap is quite a bit more involved than the shell was. One of the things I'm going to try to do at this time is try to speed up just a little bit so that I won't be exactly explaining each keystroke or key as like I was in the past. But what you need to do is, if it seems like I'm moving too fast, let me know so that maybe I can either go back and redo or slow down for the one we're working on. Okay, I want to start with the select pointer. So I hit the space bar at the bottom. All right, I'm going to click on our component that we have before. Next, I want to double click, and I want to click to the point so that I can highlight the image that I want to work on right here. And what we're going to do is draw a line across the surface, but we're going to start with this section right here. So I'm going to hit the L key for the line, and I want to make sure it's green. Come straight across, connect there, continue with a green line all the way across to the side. And what I've done is I've created this section in the place where the curve starts for the top. From here it's curved in this example, and it's a straight side down from there. I'm going to turn around to look at the inside. And what I want to do is create a box in here, but I need one more piece of information because the curve actually stops at the flat panel at the top. So I want to come and bring another line down. So again, I'm going to hit the L key to get the pencil. Come down to, this time what I want to do is come down to the joint. You'll notice there's a corner right there that makes the bend in the inner shell. Click. And then we're going to come straight down to the line we drew previously. And then on the inside, we are going to draw a box in this space in here because we need to draw an arc. And to get the arc just in the right place and make sure it's flat, it's good to work on a box shape. Now, one thing I want to show you by moving in close is that the line on the inner skin is lower than the line on the outside skin, because the outside skin here only has a single layer. So what I want to do is first get the thickness of the front of the trailer to match the thickness of the shell here. So I'm going to take this and hit the P key to get the pull tool, pull it out, and remember the best thing to do then is to type in our right thickness here. So I'm going to type 1 space 1/2 shift quote sign to get the inch mark. So I have 1.5 inches, and hit enter to make it actually adjust to the size. Now, one of the neat things about the pull tool is if you already have somebody or some piece that's the right length, all you need to do is pull out, and you notice it will stop to there. The other thing you can do is just pull the tool over to the surface that you want it to match, and it'll do that. So just pull over there, and now these are matched, and I have the thickness of the front wall matches the thickness of the back wall. All right, so we want to draw a rectangle in this area, but one of the things you want to check is to make sure that this inner corner line lines up, and you can see that it doesn't. And that's partly because we used that tool to create that inner shape. So I'm going to highlight this. Again, use the L key for the line, and start here and draw a second line. And I'm going to come across just underneath where I made the vertical line a minute ago, right here. Okay, see, and I can run up here, and that kind of tells it where it is. Want to make sure the line is green, so it's lined up properly, and click. All right, now I'm going to pull one out to make this edge of the box, and that's going to be on the red axis. But again, I need to know where to stop it. So I'm going to come over and touch this point down here till a second or two, and then when I pull it over, see, you can see it better, of course, on your screen. I'll get that little very invisible green line, and also that dot will pop up in that corner to tell me that I'm lined up properly. So I'll click, draw it over, click again. I'm going to move in close because these two lines are so close together that the pencil might jump, and I want to make sure it's on this line. And click. And again, if it was the right lines and everything lined up, the box will fill. If the box doesn't fill, it means that maybe you started on the high line here or you missed one here, and so this isn't a perfectly flat surface. All right, we're going to use the arc tool. Arc tool's up here. Click on the arc tool, and what we want to do first is we want to double click this so that the surface as well as the edges are lit. Start at this corner, click, come across to the far corner here, click, and then we're ready to start forming our arc. Now again, remember, if you run your tool along the outside edge, the arc will stay in direct contact with the surface. If you aren't careful, it'll start flopping all over the place and won't be where you want it to be. So follow this outside edge. Now, down in this corner, right here where I am, I'm going to watch very closely. I want that arc just to come over and just almost kiss that other line, but it's better to leave just a hair space. And click. Okay, again, you can see that the area up here is unselected, so that means our line was successful. And what we want to do here is we want to take and highlight that and hit the delete key to get rid of that space for now. Now, this is in the inner shell. And this is probably a good point before we go on. For right now, we want to separate these two because otherwise some strange things might happen with the program. It's just one of the things you learn about different programs. So I'm going to take all these surfaces and I'm going to double click. Hold the shift key down. That way, when I double click on the other surfaces, I can keep all of them highlighted. So I can select all the surfaces that make up the inner shell. And when I can see that I've got them all highlighted, I'm going to right click, make a component. And again, we want to label these. So this is going to be shell front, and this is on the curb side, so we're going to put down curb, shell, front, curb, and it's the inside or inner. So we have all the information, we know how to identify that. Remember, you need to make sure that the replace section with component is clicked, and then we're going to click create. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my move tool, and remember, we can go up in here, get it, or we can hit the M key to get the move tool. And I don't need to duplicate, I just need to move it. So I'm going to grab the corner and move straight out over here, trying to keep that line green. Ooh. Now if it did there, unfortunately it jumped on me, so I'm just going to do Control Z to get it back in line, and then make sure I pull it right straight out this time. There we go. All right, so we've got our shape, and what we're going to do now is we're going to use the follow tool to create the curve in the top of our trailer. What we need to do first is we need to hit the space bar so that we get the select tool, and we're going to double click on the thing so we are within the surfaces. Before I had that big blue box that meant it was a component. And what I want to do is I want to pick just all these outside edges that are here. And so you might want to turn it so you can see it a little easier. And since I want to select all of them, I'm going to hold the shift key again and move down along this edge, clicking on each segment of the rounded surface.